No one survives the Deathworlders, and the aliens learn why the alarm bells rang through the research ship Harmonious Inquiry. Like a warning song, Commander Zethkar lifted her blue-scaled head from the star charts she had been studying. Her large, dark eyes looked toward the communications center where her crew worked. "Commander," called Officer Nixtel, his crystal body glowing bright orange with excitement. "We have found something impossible." Zethkar moved quickly across the ship's main deck. Her forelegs carried her smoothly between the workstations where different alien species worked. Together, the Trilaxians sat in their special chairs, their thin bodies protected by radiation suits. The Melodians hummed softly as they worked, their song-like voices filling the air with gentle music. The crystal Vor stood at their posts, their bodies changing colors as they processed information. "What did you find?" Zethkar asked as she reached the communications station. Nixtel pointed to the large screen in front of them. Strange patterns of light and sound moved across the display. "A signal, Commander, coming from the Deathworld sectors." The entire bridge became quiet. Even the Melodians stopped their humming. Everyone knew about the Deathworld sectors. It was the most dangerous part of the galaxy. Ships that went there never came back. Planets there could not support life. The radiation alone would cook most species in minutes. "Are you certain?" Zethkar asked, her voice low and careful. "Yes, Commander," said Dr. Velter, the ship's science officer. His long, thin arms moved over his controls as he checked the data again. "The signal is definitely coming from planet designation TXK739. That world is classified as impossible for life." Zethkar looked at the information on her screen. Planet TXK-739 was a nightmare world. The gravity was 3 times stronger than most civilized planets. The atmosphere was full of poison gases. Storms there were so powerful they could destroy entire cities. The radiation levels would kill any known species in hours. "But Commander," Nixtel continued, his crystal body now glowing yellow with worry, "this is not just any signal. Look at this." The screen changed to show patterns of numbers and symbols. They were organized in clear mathematical sequences. The patterns repeated in ways that could only mean one thing. "These are not natural formations," Dr. Velter said quietly. "Someone or something made these patterns, something intelligent." The bridge crew looked at each other with wide eyes. Intelligence on a death world was impossible. No species could evolve on such a terrible planet. No species could survive there long enough to build a civilization. "Perhaps the signal came from somewhere else and bounced off the planet," suggested Melody Officer Rinsha, her voice like soft bells. Dr. Velter shook his head. "No. I have checked 3 times. The signal starts from the planet's surface. And there's more." He touched his controls again. "I am detecting what appears to be cities." "Cities?" Zethkar's voice rose with disbelief. "Large structures and organized patterns. Evidence of agriculture." And Dr. Velter paused, as if he could not believe his own words. "Technology, advanced technology." The silence on the bridge grew heavy. Everyone stared at the impossible data on their screens. A civilization on a death world. It went against everything they knew about life in the galaxy. This could be a trap, warned Security Officer Klaxmer, his red skin turning darker with concern. Pirates sometimes use false signals to draw ships into dangerous areas. "From a death world?" Dr. Velter asked. "No pirate would risk going there. Besides, these mathematical patterns are too complex for a simple trap." Zethkar walked slowly around the bridge, thinking. Her crew watched her with nervous eyes. The Trilaxians whispered to each other in their clicking language. The Vorth crystals flickered with different colors as they processed their emotions. The Melodians hummed very quietly, their songs now filled with worry. "What does the Galactic Council say about this sector?" Zethkar asked. Officer Klaxmer checked his database. "All expeditions to the Death World sectors have failed. The last attempt was 60 years ago. The science ship Brave Explorer was lost with all hands. Before that, the military vessel Strong Shield disappeared. In total, 17 ships have been lost in those sectors over the past 2 centuries. And now we detect intelligent life there, Zethkar said slowly. Life that has not just survived, but built cities and developed technology. Dr. Velter looked up from his station. Commander, with your permission, I would like to perform a deep scan of the planet. We could learn more about these beings. A deep scan from this distance? Nixtal asked, his crystal body turning pale blue with fear. That would require us to use our most powerful sensors. If there really are intelligent beings down there, they will detect our scan. Good. Zethkar said, surprising everyone. If they are intelligent, perhaps they can tell us how they survive on such a world. She looked around at her crew. Fear and excitement mixed in their faces. This could be the greatest discovery in galactic history, or it could be their last mistake. Dr. Velter, begin the deep scan. All stations, prepare for possible contact with unknown intelligence. Officer Klaxmer, ready our defensive systems, but do not target anything unless I give the order. Yes, Commander, her crew responded together. The ship's powerful sensors turned toward the distant Death World. Energy flowed through the scanning systems as they reached across space to touch the impossible planet. On the screens, more details began to appear. Buildings that seemed designed to bend and move. Structures that looked like they were built to survive terrible storms. Roads that curved around areas of dangerous ground. Commander, Dr. Velter said, his voice filled with wonder. These beings have not just survived their world. They have learned to live with it. Their cities are built to work with the planet's dangers, not fight against them. Incredible, Zethkar whispered. Suddenly, all the screens on the bridge lit up with new information. A new signal was coming from the planet. This one was stronger, more direct. They are responding to our scan, Nixtal announced, his body now glowing bright white with amazement. The signal cleared, and words appeared on their translation screens. The language was unknown, but their computers worked quickly to understand it. Slowly, a message formed in Galactic Standard. Are you the ones who have been watching us? We have been trying to reach someone for decades. Please respond. We mean no harm. We have much to share. The bridge fell completely silent. The impossible had happened. They had made contact with intelligent life from a death world. Life that was not only surviving, but actively trying to communicate with the wider galaxy. Zethkar looked at the message for a long time. Her crew waited for her decision. Outside their ship, the stars continued their ancient dance, unaware that everything was about to change. Prepare a response, she said finally. Today, we make history. Commander Zethkar stared at the message glowing on her screen. The words from the death world seemed too simple, too friendly for beings who lived in such a terrible place. She turned to her communication officer. Nixtal, send a basic response. Tell them we are explorers from the Galactic Council. Ask them what they call themselves. The crystal officer's body flickered with nervous colors as he worked. Message sent, Commander. We should receive a reply in approximately 4 minutes. Those 4 minutes felt like hours. The bridge crew worked quietly, but Zethkar could feel their excitement and fear. Dr. Velter checked his instruments again and again. The melodians hummed very softly, their songs filled with wonder. The Trilaxians whispered among themselves, their voices clicking like small machines. When the reply came, it surprised everyone with its speed and detail. Greetings, friends from the stars. We are humans, and our world is called Earth. We are so excited to finally meet others. We have been sending signals into space for over 100 of our years, hoping someone would answer. My name is Dr. Sarah Chen, and I speak for our planet's science community. We have so many questions for you. The translation was clear and easy to understand, but what shocked the crew was the tone. These humans sounded happy, curious, and completely unafraid. They seem friendly, said Officer Rinsha, her musical voice filled with confusion. How can beings from a death world be so normal? Dr. Velter looked up from his station. Commander, they are asking us questions about our biology, our worlds, our technology. They want to share information. What kind of information? Zethkar asked. Everything. They are offering to tell us about their world, their history, their science. In return, they want to learn about the galaxy. They say they have been alone for so long, they cannot wait to meet their neighbors. Zethkar felt a chill run through her body. These beings lived on a world that killed everything, yet they called other species their neighbors. What kind of creatures were they? Over the next few hours, a steady flow of messages traveled between the ship and Earth. The humans shared basic information about themselves, with the enthusiasm of children showing off their toys. But as Dr. Velter studied their data, his face grew more and more worried. "Commander," he called, his voice shaking, "you need to see this." The main screen filled with information about human biology. The numbers made no sense. The data had to be wrong. According to their own measurements, Dr. Velter said slowly, humans can survive in temperatures that would freeze most species solid or cook them instantly. They regularly consume substances that would be deadly poison to us. Their bodies can heal from injuries that would permanently disable other beings. Security Officer Klaxmer studied the data with growing alarm. Look at these physical capabilities. They claim they can run for hours without stopping. Their bones can support weights that would crush most species. Some of them voluntarily put their bodies under extreme stress for something they call exercise. That cannot be accurate, said Nixtel, his crystal body turning dark blue with disbelief. No species could evolve such abilities, but the humans kept sending more information, always with the same cheerful, helpful attitude. They shared images of their world that made the alien crew gasp with horror. Massive storms that covered entire continents, mountains that spit fire and melted rock, oceans filled with creatures that seemed designed for nothing but hunting and eating. "Look at this," Dr. Velter whispered, showing a picture of human children playing outside during what the humans called a light rain. His instruments detected that the rainwater contained chemicals that would burn through most species' skin. The humans explained their weather with casual words, as if they were describing a pleasant day. "Today is partly cloudy with a chance of thunderstorms. Temperature is a comfortable 25 degrees Celsius. Perfect weather for outdoor activities." 25 degrees? Officer Rincha sang in a worried voice. "That temperature would kill my people in minutes." More data flowed from Earth. The humans described their history as if it were perfectly normal. They talked about ice ages that lasted thousands of years, asteroid impacts that destroyed entire civilizations, diseases that wiped out millions of their people, and natural disasters that happened so often they had built their entire society around surviving them. "Commander," Dr. Velter said, his voice barely a whisper, "they are not just surviving their world. They have made it their home. They speak of earthquakes and hurricanes the way we speak of gentle breezes." The humans shared pictures of their cities. The alien crew expected to see underground bunkers or heavily protected domes. Instead, they saw beautiful buildings that reached toward the sky, roads filled with humans walking around without any protective gear, and parks where human families gathered for something they called fun. "How is this possible?" asked Officer Klaxmer. "Our strongest military armor could not protect us on that world for more than a few hours. Yet they live there wearing almost nothing." A new message arrived from Dr. Sarah Chen. "We hope you don't think we are bragging, but we want to show you some of our achievements. We have explored the deepest parts of our oceans, where the pressure would crush most metals. We have climbed our highest mountains, where there is almost no air to breathe. We have built cities in deserts where nothing else can live, and settlements in frozen lands where the temperature never rises above freezing." The message continued with pictures. Humans working in conditions that looked like the inside of an active volcano, humans swimming in waters that glow with dangerous radiation, humans living comfortably in places that every galactic database marked as instant death zones. They are not just adapted to their death world, Zethkar realized. They have become so tough that they can survive anywhere on it. Another message arrived. "We have been studying the stars for a long time, and we know there are regions of space that most life forms cannot visit. We have been working on spacecraft designed to explore these dangerous areas. We would love to help the Galactic Council explore places that have been too risky for others." The bridge fell silent. The humans were not just survivors. They were volunteers. They actually wanted to go to the most dangerous places in the galaxy. Dr. Velter looked up with wide eyes. Commander, they are offering to take us on a tour of their world. They say they have prepared safe facilities where we could visit without being harmed. The final message of the day arrived just as the alien crew was trying to process everything they had learned. Dr. Sarah Chen's words appeared on the screen with the same friendly, excited tone as always. We know our world might seem a little rough to visitors, but don't worry. We have lots of experience keeping people safe in challenging environments. We would be honored to welcome you to Earth. There is so much we want to share with our new friends among the stars. Zethkar stared at the message for a long time. The humans were inviting them to visit a world that could kill them in seconds. But somehow, she believed these strange, impossible beings could actually keep them safe. Prepare a response, she said quietly. Tell them we are very interested in their invitation. For 3 weeks, the crew of the Harmonious Inquiry worked day and night preparing for something no one had ever done before, visiting a death world. Their ship's medical bay became a workshop where Dr. Velter and his team built the strongest protective suits they could imagine, triple-layered radiation shielding. Dr. Velter explained as he tested the new equipment. Emergency oxygen supplies for 72 hours. Temperature control systems that can handle anything from freezing cold to burning heat. And personal force fields powered by our ship's main reactor. Commander Zethkar watched her crew work. With growing worry, even with all this protection, they would only be able to survive on Earth for a few hours. The humans had promised them comfortable facilities. But what did comfort mean to beings who lived in such terrible conditions? The humans sent detailed information to help them prepare. Maps showing the safest landing areas. Weather reports that describe conditions as mild, even though they would be deadly to any galactic species. Environmental data that read like a list of hazards. From the galaxy's worst disaster zones, Commander Officer Nixel reported, his crystal body glowing pale yellow with nervousness. The humans say they are preparing an underground facility for our visit. They call it their gentlest environment zone. The temperature there is only 18 degrees Celsius. Only 18 degrees? Whispered Officer Rensha. That would freeze my people solid in minutes. But the humans seemed genuinely excited. About the visit, Dr. Sarah Chen sent daily messages full of enthusiasm and detailed safety plans. She explained how they had converted an entire research station to create perfect conditions for alien visitors. We have adjusted the atmospheric pressure, installed air filtration systems, and created special rooms with environmental controls, her latest message read. Our best scientists are working around the clock to make sure you will be completely safe and comfortable during your stay. As their ship approached Earth's solar system, the alien crew got their first real look at the human homeworld. What they saw made everyone gasp in amazement and terror. Earth was beautiful and horrifying at the same time. Massive storm systems swirled across entire continents. Lightning flashed constantly through thick clouds. The oceans were filled with currents that moved with tremendous force, and everywhere, covering the land and floating on the seas, were the signs of human civilization. Look at those cities, Dr. Velter said in wonder. They are not built underground or protected by domes. They are right there on the surface, completely exposed to that terrible environment. The cities were indeed exposed, but they were also magnificent. Tall buildings that seemed designed to bend with the wind. Roads that curved around areas where the ground moved and shook. Bridges that stretched across rivers filled with water. That registered as toxic on their instruments, Commander, reported Navigation Officer Texuna. The humans are guiding us to their prepared landing site. They say it is located in what they call one of North America's calmer regions. The landing site was a flat area surrounded by mountains. Even from space, the alien crew could see that this calm place was more dangerous than the most hazardous zones. On their homeworlds, their instruments detected ground that shifted regularly, air that contained poisonous gases, and radiation, levels that would require emergency evacuation procedures on any civilized planet. How did they define calm? Officer Klaxmer asked, his red skin turning almost black with worry. As their ship descended through Earth's atmosphere, The crew experienced their first taste of human normal conditions. The ship's hull groaned, under stresses it had never felt before. Warning alarms sounded as external temperatures swung between extremes that would crack most materials. The navigation system struggled to maintain course in winds that moved like liquid metal. "This is just their atmosphere," Nixtel said, his body flickering between colors of fear and amazement. "We have not even landed yet." When they finally touched down, the crew gathered at the viewing ports to see their first humans in person. What they saw confused them completely. A group of humans stood near their ship, waiting to greet them. They wore what looked like light clothing, simple fabric coverings that provided almost no protection. They breathed the poisonous air as if it were nothing. They stood calmly in gravitational conditions that should have crushed their bones. And they were smiling. They looked so normal, Officer Rincha sang softly. "How can they look so normal in such a terrible place?" The lead human, Dr. Sarah Chen, approached their ship with confident steps. She was a small creature compared to most galactic species, but she moved without any fear or difficulty in conditions that would kill most beings instantly. Behind her walked other humans, males and females, young and old, all looking perfectly comfortable in their deadly environment. Dr. Chen spoke into a communication device, and her voice came through their ship's speakers. "Welcome to Earth. Friends, we are so excited to meet you in person. Please take all the time you need to prepare. We know this environment is very different from what you are used to." The crew spent another hour checking their protective equipment. Finally, Commander Zethkar decided it was time to make history. Wearing their strongest protective suits and carrying emergency supplies, the alien crew prepared to step onto a death world. The airlock opened with a hiss of escaping air. Zethkar stepped out first, her instruments immediately screaming warnings about the hostile environment around her. The gravity tried to pull her to the ground with crushing force. The air was filled with particles that would burn through unprotected skin. The ground beneath her feet radiated heat that could cook most species. But Dr. Sarah Chen walked up to her with a huge smile, completely unprotected, completely comfortable. "Commander Zethkara," Dr. Chen said happily, "it is such an honor to meet you. How was your journey? I hope the landing was not too rough. The weather has been very nice lately." "Nice weather." Zethkara looked around at conditions that her people would use to test military equipment for extreme durability. The humans called this nice weather. "Dr. Chen," Zethkara said through her suit's communication system, "thank you for welcoming us. Your world is very impressive." "Oh, this is nothing," Dr. Chen laughed. "Wait until you see some of our really interesting places. But first, let us get you to the research station where you can be more comfortable. We have prepared everything just for you." As they walked toward the underground facility, Zethkar watched the humans around her. Children played in areas that registered as toxic waste zones. Adults worked at tasks that would require hazmat teams on any civilized world. Everyone moved with the casual confidence of people who had never known fear of their environment. The research station was indeed underground, carved into solid rock that provided some protection from the surface conditions. But even here, in what the humans considered their safest area, the environmental readings would classify the place as a disaster zone on any other world. "Here we are," Dr. Chen announced as they entered the main facility. "We have adjusted everything to make you as comfortable as possible. The temperature is a nice, cool 15 degrees. The air pressure is reduced to almost nothing, and we have filtered out most of the interesting chemicals that might bother you. 15 degrees. Almost no air pressure, most chemicals filtered out." The humans had tried so hard to create comfortable conditions for their guests, but what they considered comfortable was still deadly to most galactic life. As Zethkar looked around the facility, she realized the truth that would change everything. The humans had not conquered their death world. They had become so perfectly adapted to it that they no longer understood how lethal their normal existence was to anyone else. They were not survivors. They were evolution's ultimate success story, and they did not even know it. For 5 days, the alien crew lived among humans in their underground research station. Each day brought new discoveries that changed everything they thought they knew about life in the galaxy. On the first day, Commander Zethkar watched human workers begin their daily tasks through the station's protective windows. She saw people walking to their jobs without any protective equipment. They carried tools that weighed more than most galactic species could lift. They worked for 12 hours straight in conditions that would put her crew in the medical bay. Dr. Chen, Zethkar asked carefully, "Do your people not get tired from such long work periods?" Dr. Chen looked puzzled. 12 hours, though. That is just a normal workday. Some of our people work much longer when they have important projects. Our emergency workers sometimes stay on duty for 24 hours or more when needed. 24 hours. Zethkar people needed rest every 6 hours or they would collapse. Most galactic species were similar, but humans worked for times longer and acted like it was perfectly normal. Dr. Velter spent his time studying human medical data with growing amazement. "Commander, you must see this," he called excitedly. "Their immune system does not just fight diseases. It learns from them and becomes stronger." "What do you mean?" Zethkar asked. "When a human gets sick, their body remembers the disease and builds better defenses against it. They can become immune to illnesses that would kill other species. Some humans have immunity to dozens of different deadly diseases." The revelation got even more incredible. Dr. Velter discovered that human bodies became stronger under stress. When their bones broke, they healed stronger than before. When their muscles were damaged, they grew back larger and more powerful. Even their minds worked differently. Trauma that would break most species only made humans more determined and creative. It is as if their entire evolution was designed around becoming tougher. Dr. Velter explained, "Every challenge makes them stronger instead of weaker." On the second day, the humans shared their history. They gathered in the station's main room and told stories. That made the alien crew sit in shocked silence. About 70,000 years ago, our planet experienced what we call an ice age, explained Dr. Marcus Thompson, a young human engineer. Most of our world was covered in ice for thousands of years. The temperature dropped so low that almost all life died. "How did your people survive?" asked Officer Rinsha, her musical voice filled with wonder. "We adapted," Dr. Thompson said simply. "We learned to make fire, build shelters, and work together. When the ice finally melted, we were stronger than before," the humans described. Disaster after disaster, asteroid impacts that changed their climate, volcanic eruptions that blocked out the sun for years, diseases that spread across entire continents, wars that involved their whole planet. Each time, humanity had not just survived but learned and grown stronger. "You speak of these terrible events as if they were learning experiences," Nixtal observed, his crystal body glowing with confused colors. "They were," Dr. Chen smiled. "Every challenge taught us something new about survival, cooperation, and innovation. We would not be who we are today without those experiences." On the third day, the humans began sharing their technology. What the aliens saw changed their understanding of engineering forever. The humans showed them materials that became stronger under pressure instead of weaker, building designs that used destructive forces like earthquakes and storms to make structures more stable, energy systems that turned dangerous radiation and extreme weather into power for their cities. "This is impossible," Officer Klaxmer said as he studied blueprints for a human building. "This design should collapse under its own weight." "It would," Dr. Thompson agreed, "if it were built anywhere else. But on Earth, the constant movement of the ground actually helps hold it together. We learned to make our buildings dance with earthquakes instead of fighting them." The humans had invented materials that repaired themselves when damaged, vehicles that worked better in extreme conditions than in mild ones, communication systems that used the planet's dangerous magnetic fields to send messages across vast distances. "We do not fight our world," Dr. Chen explained. "We work with it. Every danger becomes a tool. Every challenge becomes an opportunity." On the fourth day, the most amazing discovery happened by accident. Young Dr. Thompson was showing the aliens around the station when he casually mentioned something that made everyone stop and stare. Of course, This facility is just for basic research, he said. When we start exploring the really dangerous parts of the galaxy, we will need much stronger equipment. The really dangerous parts? Zethkara asked slowly. Oh yes. Dr. Thompson's eyes lit up with excitement. We have been studying your galactic maps, and there are so many interesting places to explore. Black hole systems, neutron star fields, those nebulae filled with corrosive gases. We are already designing ships that can handle those environments. The alien crew looked at each other in disbelief. The really dangerous parts Dr. Thompson mentioned were areas that the Galactic Council had marked as completely impossible to explore. Even their strongest military ships could not survive in those regions. You want to explore neutron star fields? Dr. Velter asked weakly. Want to? We cannot wait. Dr. Thompson laughed. Think of what we might discover. New forms of matter, in known energy patterns, maybe even other forms of life that can survive in extreme conditions. Dr. Chen joined the conversation with equal enthusiasm. We have been alone in the galaxy for so long. We are excited about every new place we might visit. The more challenging it is, the more interesting it will be. On the fifth day, the final revelation came when the humans offered to demonstrate their capabilities. We know this might be hard to believe, Dr. Chen said, but we would like to show you how we handle emergency situations on our world. We have prepared a safe viewing area where you can watch our rescue teams work. The demonstration took place in a nearby area that the humans describe as slightly more active than usual. The aliens watched from inside their protective suits as human emergency workers responded to what their instruments classified as multiple simultaneous disasters. A landslide had buried several buildings. Toxic gases were leaking from underground. The ground was shaking with earthquake activity. Fires were spreading through areas that should have been impossible to enter. The human rescue workers ran directly into all of this danger wearing only basic protective gear. They worked calmly and efficiently, as if they were fixing simple problems in a peaceful garden. They rescued trapped people, stopped the gas leaks, and controlled the fires in less than 3 hours. This was just a small emergency. Dr. Chen explained afterward. Nothing too serious. Nothing too serious. Zethkar realized that what the humans considered a minor problem would require the full resources of most planetary governments to handle. That night, as the alien crew prepared to leave Earth, Zethkar made a final log entry that would change galactic history. We came here expecting to find survivors. Instead, we found something far more amazing. We found a species that does not just survive impossible conditions, they thrive in them. Humanity is not just adapted to their death world. They have become the ultimate form of life, capable of thriving anywhere in the galaxy, and they want to share their strength with all of us. 3 months after returning from Earth, Commander Zethkar stood before the full assembly of the Galactic Council. The Great Hall was filled with representatives from hundreds of species, all waiting to hear her impossible report. The massive chamber buzzed with nervous whispers as she prepared to share the most important discovery in galactic history. Honored council members, Zethkar began. I know my preliminary report seemed unbelievable. Today, I will show you proof that will change everything we know about life in our galaxy. The main display screen filled with images from Earth. The council members gasped and murmured as they saw humans working, playing, and living in conditions that looked like scenes from their worst nightmares. Children swimming in waters that glow with radiation. Adults climbing mountains where the air was too thin to breathe. Workers building structures in areas that registered as active disaster zones. These beings call themselves humans, Zethkar continued. They evolved on a world so dangerous that we classified it as impossible for life. Yet they have not just survived there, they have built a thriving civilization. Council leader Vexthara, an ancient being whose species had explored the galaxy for thousands of years, leaned forward with interest. Commander, these images are fascinating. But what does this mean for the rest of us? Zethkar smiled. It means, honored leader, that the humans want to help us explore places we thought were forever beyond our reach. The chamber fell silent. For centuries, the Galactic Council had mapped vast regions of space as unreachable zones, areas too dangerous for any known species to survive. Black hole systems, neutron star clusters, gas clouds filled with corrosive chemicals, and radiation fields that could cook starships in minutes. These regions might contain incredible resources, but they were simply too deadly to explore. The humans have offered to lead joint missions into these areas, Zethkar explained. They see danger as an interesting challenge rather than an impossible barrier. Before the council could respond, alarms began ringing throughout the chamber. Emergency broadcasts filled the hall with urgent messages. A Trilaxian colony ship carrying 50,000 civilians had suffered critical system failures. In the Kithmoran Nebula, one of the galaxy's most dangerous regions, Council Leader Vexthara's face turned pale. The nebula is filled with gases that dissolve starship hulls in hours. The gravitational fields shift constantly. No rescue mission has ever succeeded there. We have lost 17 ships trying to reach vessels trapped in that nebula, added Defense Coordinator Rultash. Every rescue attempt has ended in disaster. Zethkar stepped forward. Honored Council, I suggest we contact Earth. This is exactly the kind of situation where human help could save lives. Contact the Deathworlders. Rultash's voice rose with concern. Their ships cannot possibly be equipped for such conditions. With respect, Coordinator, Zethkar replied, I think you will be surprised. Within hours, the human response arrived. Captain Maria Rodriguez of the Earth vessel Resilient Dawn appeared on the communication screens, with a confident smile that reminded Zethkar of Dr. Chen's endless optimism. We received your emergency request, Captain Rodriguez said. Our ship is already prepared for nebula operations. We can reach the Trilaxian vessel in 18 hours, Captain. Council Leader Vexthara said carefully, perhaps you do not understand. The danger. The Kithmoran Nebula destroys everything that enters it. The gases dissolve metal. The gravity fields can tear ships apart. Captain Rodriguez's smile grew wider. Honored Leader. That sounds like exactly the kind of environment our ship was designed for. We use similar conditions for training exercises. Back home, training exercises. The alien council members looked at each other in amazement. Humans use deadly nebulae for practice. The Resilient Dawn entered the Kithmoran Nebula while the entire Galactic Council watched in stunned silence. Instead of fighting the corrosive gases, the human ship somehow used them to fuel its engines. When gravitational waves threatened to tear the vessel apart, the humans rode them like ocean currents, using the dangerous forces to speed toward their destination. This is impossible, whispered Defense Coordinator Rultash. They are moving faster inside the nebula than our ships can travel in open space. Captain Rodriguez, called Council Leader Vexthara. How are you surviving those conditions? Oh, this is nothing too difficult, Captain Rodriguez replied cheerfully. The nebula is actually helping us move faster. We have modified our hull to work with the corrosive environment instead of against it, and these gravity waves are giving us a nice boost toward the colony ship. In less than 2 days, the humans had reached the trapped Trilaxian vessel, transferred all 50,000 civilians to safety, and returned them to Council space. The rescue that every expert said was impossible had been completed so easily that Captain Rodriguez called it good practice for the really tough missions. Word of the successful rescue spread across the galaxy faster than light-speed communication. Within weeks, dozens of species were requesting human assistance with their own impossible problems, mining operations in radiation fields that no one else could approach, scientific expeditions to planets with gravity so strong it crushed normal equipment, rescue missions in areas where reality itself seemed unstable. The humans accepted every request with the same enthusiasm they had shown for meeting aliens. They treated each deadly mission as an exciting opportunity to explore new places and help their galactic neighbors. 6 months later, the Galactic Council officially established the Human Intervention Corps. The organization brought together human volunteers and alien specialists to tackle challenges that had seemed impossible for thousands of years. Commander Zethkar found herself appointed as the first alien liaison to the Corps. She watched with amazement as humans and aliens worked together to explore regions of space that had been written off as forever unreachable. The humans' casual attitude toward danger slowly began to influence other species, teaching them to see challenges as opportunities rather than barriers. The galaxy is much larger than we thought, Dr. Chen told Zethkara during one of their regular meetings. There are so many places to explore, so many things to discover. We are excited to see what we can find together. The most remarkable change was not in the places they could now explore, but in how other species began to think about the universe. Planets that had been considered too dangerous for colonization were suddenly possible with human help. Trade routes through hazardous regions opened new connections between distant civilizations. Scientific research expanded into areas that had been impossible to study. 1 year after first contact, Zethkar stood in the observation deck of a joint human-alien research station, orbiting a neutron star. Through the reinforced windows, she watched human and alien scientists working together in conditions that would have killed any known species just months before. Dr. Sarah Chen joined her at the window, still wearing the same friendly smile that had greeted them on Earth. Beautiful view, is it not? Dr. Chen said, looking out at the neutron star's deadly radiation streams. Who would have thought such a dangerous place could be so full of opportunities for discovery? Zethkar laughed, something she had learned to do from watching humans find joy in the most unexpected situations. Dr. Chen, a year ago, my people thought the galaxy was divided between safe zones where we could live and death zones we could never visit. And now, Dr. Chen asked, now we know there are simply places where most of us cannot go, and places where humans call home. But the most wonderful discovery is that humans do not want to keep those places to themselves. They want to share them with all of us. As they watched alien and human crews working together in the shadow of one of the galaxy's most dangerous objects, Zethkar realized that first contact with humanity had given the galaxy something more valuable than new technology or new worlds. It had given them hope that nothing was truly impossible. The universe was vast and full of wonders. And now, finally, they had guides who could help them explore every corner of it, no matter how dangerous it might seem. In her final log entry as commander of the Harmonious Inquiry, Zethkar wrote, "Today we learned that the greatest discovery is not a new world or a new technology. The greatest discovery is finding friends who help you become braver than you ever thought possible."